And they're away.
Conquers and Conquers goes on the beat.
Welcome to On the Bit Racing Australia. Tonight is a really special night. We've got a couple of really big announcements to make. But before we get into it all, I'd like to welcome a special guest to the show. And first of all, I'd like to welcome is Rob Luck to the show. Rob.
Yeah, good evening, Gavin. Pleasure to be here tonight on such a momentous occasion for On the Bit Australia Racing.
Yeah, thank you. And please welcome our next guest, Scotty Powell. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good evening, Gav. Good evening, Rob. And absolute privilege to be a part of tonight, Gav, with On the Bit Racing Australia. Some big announcements to be made, mate. And as I said, it's a privilege to be a part of it.
Good evening to you, Scotty.
Well, let's get underway. So On the Bit was formed the 13th of June 2017 by Matt Peters and a small group of really important people around him. Andrew Watts, Rob Luck, Max Tanks, and all the members of the Weenet family from Gladstone all jumped in to support the need, and they saw a gap that country Queensland and racing just needed more promotion, needed more recognition. And hours of time and effort went in with some really dedicated people across the state. We've now teamed up to bring live country racing right across Queensland to an audience now that goes across Australia and even internationally. Fast track 3 years, and we're pleased to announce that On the Bit Racing Australia website is now complete, up and running, and available for everyone to use. For all the punters and the viewers and supporters out there, if you want to have a look at the website and log in and register and become a member and all those things, you just punch into the browser On the Bit Racing Australia, all one word, .com.au. So that's On the Bit Racing Australia.com.au. It's a really exciting night. And Rob, we'll start with you, sir. You've had a bit of a first-hand insider sneak peek at the website. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, firstly, Gavin, congratulations to Matty and Christy Peters for the completion of the website. I know it's been a work in progress for quite some time and a goal and a dream, Matt, since the beginning of On the Bit. So it's fantastic to see it up and running. And the first thing I'll say is, being at my age, when you look at a website, the ease of being able to operate it is so important. And I like the fact that when you go straight to the home page, the first thing that comes up is the ability to log in to have live racing come to you or get the notifications of that by simply clicking on that, becoming a premium access member, I think it's called. So never miss a race again. I love the fact that that comes up, because that's the heart of On the Bit country racing, the ability to be able to see that. So straight away, I found it very easy to navigate, to use. And as I said, as the older brigade, we tend to get a bit frightened of these things. But just one other little thing, when you click along the taskbars, I like the fact in the States that the Queensland racing contacts are all there. So rather than having to go to the race calendar all the time, simply click on that and it'll bring up all of the country racing associations, so the contact for it. So on, very, very valuable tool that when you're trying to make contact with different clubs around the state. So yeah, look up. It's great to be able to use. It's easy to use. I've already joined the membership side of it with that access to get the notifications. That seemed to work. So that's a very good start, I think.
Yeah, and the showpiece and the real core of all the business around what On the Bit does is to support and showcase the race clubs of Queensland, all the participants within them. And Scotty, it's a great initiative from Matty and Christy and a whole bunch of really quality people around them over several years now.
Yeah, Gav, it's absolutely tremendous to see the website up and running. As you said, it's been a lot of work in progress, and I know that you've been a big part of that as well, along with Matty and Christy, and also Robbie from earlier days, and Maxie, Davey Winnart and his family as well. a lot of good support. Andrew Watts. You know, country racing has sort of come to life, so to speak, once again. You know, there's no coverage whatsoever, and Racing Queensland are well and truly on board. And navigating the webpage earlier in the week, just simply, you know, outstanding with the information that can be on there, and including the bush beat programs, Robbie, that you and Tony put together of a Tuesday, and I think that's on board as well, and that's on the site as well. And I just think the replays of you know, all of the upcoming races, and, you know, anything that's been recorded, previous races that have been recorded, just an absolute tremendous thing for country racing in general. And I take my hat off to Matty Christie and everyone concerned, all of the sponsorship team. And as I said, it's a privilege to be a part of that.
Yeah, good on you, Scotty. And I know that the core group around the On The Bit team value your support as well. And absolutely, it's onwards and upwards in terms of where this team is at. And when Matty and Christy asked me to come on board, you know, several months ago now, the whole concept was unbelievable. But the reason why I jumped on was just the quality of people that Matty and Christy are, and the quality team that they've got around them. And it was a bit of a no-brainer decision for my family to get on board. And you know, being the central part of On The Bit Racing Australia is a bit like any of the stakeholders in horse racing. It seems to be a seven-day-a-week job and many hours. And you know, we're certainly not the only participants in racing who do that. But we're here to support all the participants, the studs, the race clubs, the jockeys, and promote country Queensland racing, and to shine the limelight on some quality people who are doing a fantastic job. So yeah, it's an exciting time, and I certainly echo your sentiments, Robin and Scotty, that it's a privilege to be involved. So viewers, please jump on the onthebitsracingaustralia.com.au website, check it out, send some feedback in, let us know what you think. It's a really exciting time. So Rob, that was our first announcement of the night. So I hope everyone gets on and checks out the website. But the second announcement of the night, which is also really important, is now that the website's up and running, the nominations for our Gala Awards night is now online, live, and up on the website. It's the first time that the nominations, the nominations are the first step to having the person or a horse honoured for the achievements over a very long time or a short period of time, depending on their excellence. And that nomination process is a fantastic thing, Rob.
Yeah, Gavin, actually, it's amazing that we're entering the third year of the awards night, isn't it? It doesn't seem that long. I'm sure to Matt and Christy, it's probably felt that long over a period of time, but the culmination of being the awards nights that have gone off brilliantly, and now the ability to use the website for the process of making sure nominations are received for the awards with the criteria that is outlined there for each award. And Gavin, I can't stress the importance enough when people nominate a horse, a jockey, a trainer, an individual. It is so important to put as much detail as possible in there and try and match the words in the criteria to put their nomination across, because the panel who will be involved in determining the awards need that information. It's not really good enough to sort of say so-and-so or such and such could win this award because, and leave it at that. You need plenty of information to back it up, and the ability to do that through the website is so important. Look at the criteria carefully, study the, I suppose, key words, if you like, and match your information to it so the panel gets a really good picture. Make it so visual that when they're looking at it, they'll say, oh, this horse, this person, this trainer, whatever, has to be really considered for that award. So it's great that it's all up on the website, and it looks spectacular when you look at it with all those gold trophies sitting there above each of the names of the awards.
Yeah, it's very wise words, Rob. All the hard work through the whole year is done. It is just, you know, putting an extra polish on to make sure that there's no stone left unturned. So the panel have to have the very tough adjudication of going through the nominations to pick an award winner, have all the information necessary to make sure that the right people are getting the awards that they deserve.
On the Bit is proudly supported by Manuplex, creating a more productive future for Australian mining.
So let's run through them in a little bit more detail, as there has been a few changes to some of the awards due to COVID. We've had 1 or 2 removed and 1 or 2 added. So we're going to run through one by one. And the first award, Rob, is the Queensland Country Racing Club Person or Volunteer of the Year. And this is awarded to a club member and or official who has demonstrated exceptional dedication in supporting country racing through their role or their position, and has enhanced their local club and performed above expectations of their position. Really important award.
Oh, definitely. And even though it's been a COVID year and not every club has had the opportunity to maybe race like normal, that doesn't stop people being part of their clubs and doing things for their clubs or being a volunteer of the year in many ways in the country racing scene. And therefore, it's important we still honour those people with this award. And I think, again, when you look at it, it's those key words that exceptional dedication, the way they've enhanced their local club, made things better, built on it, not just done the same old every year, and performed above normal expectations. I mean, everyone has roles in clubs, but you know of people who always go above the norm. They go above the call of duty, and it's those things that you focus in on when you want to put this nomination in. So don't miss someone if you think it's worthy of putting in. Don't be frightened by the words. Simply come forward with all the good details. And it's amazing what you hear, that the things that people do, and clubs and other people actually learn from it and say, what a great idea or a great thing they're doing. If that's all part of the nomination, it really helps not only to get the award, but to help other clubs pick up ideas.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's our first award. And our second award, Scotty, is the Queensland Country Racing 2020 Outstanding Contribution to Country Racing, which is an award presented to a person and organisation that throughout the year demonstrated leadership in country racing and has gone beyond the call of duty to achieve results. The recipient may have demonstrated leadership in roles including, but not limited to, media, administration, politics, advocacy for racing and welfare. Another really important award, Scotty.
Very important, Gavin. As Rob said, particularly with the year we've had with the pandemic, and not many clubs have raced, but I tell you what, there's a lot of people that are involved with other clubs that are still involved with the country racing statewide, whether it be to the northwest or down to the southwest, central west, or around the CQ area. Any one of those people in those different roles. So it can be anyone involved in racing, whatsoever, with different roles in the media, administration, all of those types of demonstrations that have been in place, and the nomination form has all the details on there for people to actually put their nominations forward. And there'll be a number of nominations this year, I believe, for all of these categories. Last year, we've seen a lot more nominations come forward from the previous year. And, this is the third year of the awards. And I just think we're going to see a huge crowd there. The nominations will be there in big numbers. And it's great to see these different awards coming through. And in particular, this one, the Queensland Country Racing 2020 Outstanding Contribution to Country Racing. So, as we know, this On the Bit Racing Australia is mainly to do with the country racing side. And I think we've got a lot of great people out there involved, and it's good to see some names come forward.
Thanks very much, Scotty. Couldn't agree with you more. Rob, our third award that we're going to be looking at tonight is the Queensland Country Racing Newcomer of the Year, which is awarded to an individual who is in their first year within the industry, which has made a noteworthy start to a career measured by a number of wins, feature race wins, and or contributed to racing, country racing on the bit Racing Australia calendar year?
Yeah, Gavin, this is an interesting one and a difficult one, I think, and you don't want to miss someone who's been a shining light in their first go at being involved in racing in whatever format it is. And sometimes you overlook what some people can do in 1 year in any sport, game or business, and they often achieve more in 1 year than what some people might achieve in 5 or 6 years. So you're really looking for that shining light that's come through, and I know there's been some outstanding recipients in recent years, but it doesn't mean it has to be limited to a trainer. It doesn't mean it has to be limited to someone in a club sense, but it's a broad spectrum again. But you really are looking to find the person who's made a mark in their infancy of being involved in country racing, and highlight that fact about them and why that's been so important to country racing across the board. So again, we're always trying to get more people involved in racing, and this is a great award that honours those people who are new to the game and get that recognition early on in their careers.
Thanks for that, Rob. And as we all know, the horse racing industry, sometimes it can take a little while to get your feet on the ground and get some traction and get some results. So it'll be to acknowledge and to recognise someone, a newcomer in their first year, who's made a great start, a noteworthy start, and a huge contribution to racing. I'm looking forward to seeing those nominations at the awards for sure. That brings us to our fourth award, Scotty, which is the Queensland Country Racing Jockey of the Year Award, which is awarded to a jockey who has excelled in the On the Bit Racing Australia 2020 calendar year. This award is measured by wins to rides, so a strike rate capacity, quality and levels of races won, and a variety of tracks that they've won at. And this award is not necessarily awarded to the Racing Queensland Jockey of the Year, which is an important distinction, Scotty.
Yeah, and we've seen some good quality of people being nominated in previous years, and I think this year will be no different. I think we're going to see a lot more jockeys being nominated for the Queensland Country Racing Jockey of the Year. We've had a lot of, the jockeys from the north go out to the northwest, so a lot more participants, so to speak. You've got the TAB riders are now venturing out to ride at the country areas because of the state that we've had this year with the pandemic. And I think it's been the same down in the southwest. That region down there has also seen a lot of TAB riders trek out, to the likes of Charleville and them sort of places as well. And I just think we're going to see the nominations come to us in big numbers, particularly for this award, the Queensland Country Racing Jockey of the Year.
Yeah, totally agree. It's going to be a very competitive award, and looking forward to see how that unfolds. Our fifth award that we'll go through tonight, Rob, is the Queensland Country Racing Apprentice Jockey of the Year, which is awarded to an apprentice jockey who has performed outstandingly in 2020 on the Bit Racing Australian calendar year, and is an award measured by wins to rides, major races won, different tracks won on, and progression as an apprentice jockey. And once again, there's a distinction here that the award is not necessarily won by the Racing Queensland Apprentice Jockey of the Year, Rob.
No, and a key thing there, Gavin, is the fact that the Queensland ones are based on the racing calendar, racing year, where these awards are based on the calendar year. So it's not as simple as talking about the number of wins at the end of a season. That's a factor to it, the wins to rides, as you said, but the variety of tracks, the races won. And with all apprentices, it's so important to get them that experience across the board, across the spectrum of all the country tracks. And I'm hoping, actually, Gavin, that awards like this one do encourage more of the apprentice jockeys to be looking at, if you like to call it, their country service, so that they get good grounding for their future. And it really carries an honour to be seen as that country racing apprentice jockey. And we've got some good ones going around. So again, the depth of nominations, I think, will be far and wide, all the country regions, and that's what we're on about, covering the whole of country Queensland. So again, take the time to point out all the details why your nomination for an individual, the apprentice jockey, should be totally considered as being the winner of the Queensland Country Racing Apprentice Jockey of the Year.
another great point. And Anna Bakos is a really recent and fantastic example. They're riding a hat-trick in the first 3 races on the weekend. And Rob, I know that you've had a lot to do with the forming and the grounding of all these awards, have an in-depth understanding of the criteria and the rationale behind them. And I really look forward to your input going forward in how this all unfolds.
No pressure on me, is there, Gavin?
Scotty, our 6th award that we're looking at tonight is the Queensland Country Racing Jim Pumper Cassidy Rider of the Year Award. This is going to be a popular award, which is awarded to a jockey who has shown significant ability, judgment to produce outstanding ride in a race in the On the Bit Racing Australia 2020 calendar year. The Jim Pumper Cassidy Award, Scotty, looks to be ultra competitive.
I think this is going to be a tremendous initiative to have this new award, the Jim Pumper Cassidy Rider of the Year Award, because as we know, Pumper comes on and does the weekly Rider of the Week. And I think there's going to be a number of jockeys being nominated for this award, from the length and breadth of country Queensland. And we're going to have Pumper on board, I think, on the Bit Racing Australia Awards night. And he was here 2 years ago, Pumper, and he wasn't able to make it this year. But I think it's going to be a big draw card, this award, and it's the Queensland Country Racing Jim Pumper Cassidy Rider of the Year Award. And Robbie, you would have seen a lot of good rides out your way, and I've seen the same, and watching the replays, a number up in the north and down to the south. And I just think we're going to see it. Nominations for this come ahead, and yeah, it'll be there in big numbers.
Yeah, I totally agree, Scotty. And look, I've been avoiding using examples or names or anything like that in terms of going through the awards. But you're right, there's been some fantastic rides already that Pumper has identified. And in fact, it's probably the award you'd like to be doing, because he probably hasn't got an easy job, but he'll come up with one single ride that stands out from the others. And that addition to the reviews where he does that, it's something that people do look forward to seeing. There's been some classic rides. There's been some rides that have got national recognition even. And, I'm not going to name those specific things, but it's that length and breadth of the state, as you said. We're going to get a great award out of this one.
For sure, mate.
Yeah, good point, Rob. And it's really important to note that we're trying to set up the criteria and the rigour and structure around the award so it's as neutral as possible. The right person wins it. There's no surprises on the night around someone coming out of left field to win it. And we're going to do a better job at keeping it under wraps in the Deli M's, where Nathan Cleary and the bloke from Canberra knew it. Jack White knew the result 4 hours for the award. These are Mickey Mouse awards. I guess is the point that you're making, Rob and Scotty. They're prestigious and they deserve some rigour around how they're awarded and how they're set up.
Absolutely, Gav.
So moving on to our award number 7, which is the Queensland Country Racing Sprinting Horse of the Year Award, which is awarded to a horse who has excelled in the On the Bit Racing Australia 2020 calendar year, and is an award measured by number of wins to starts, quality and level of races won, and the variety of tracks won at. Once again, there's a distinction here that this is not necessarily awarded to the same RQ horse of the year. Rob, looks to be a very deep field and a very competitive award.
And yeah, Gavin, this is probably one of the major changes in the award, isn't it, for the year, so that there's not just the horse of the year, but there's been a split in terms of the horse of the year, one concentrating on the sprinting distances, which, although it may not be written there, I believe is taking it through to about the 1,400 metre mark races. And again, based on the calendar year, it's not just about the number of wins, but that number of wins to starts. That quality of level races won is very, very important. And because you can have horses in a calendar year that'll go through from a maiden and win open companies, cups, or they take it to that highest level. And this is why we wait to the end of the calendar year, where they may take on the Country Cups Championship or the Country Stampede result. All of that will come into play. But as well, the variety of tracks. They may be horses that have won at multiple sand, dirt, as well as grass. Again, those factors all come into play and are given, I imagine they would be given weighting in the criteria to come up with the final winner. So it brings together a field where the sprinters, those up to that 1400 metre mark, really get to shine in their own award category. And it's probably going to bring some comments, I think, this one, because there's been a split in the nature of the Country Horse of the Year, but it gives that sprinting field the opportunity to get their honour on the evening.
Yeah, it will be. I'm sure it's going to be a discussion point, and as will the next award, Scotty, which is the Queensland Country Racing Distance Horse of the Year. And Rob quite rightly points out, it starts from the 1400 onwards, and it is awarded to a horse who has excelled in the On the Bit Racing Australia 2020 calendar year, and awarded, and the award is measured by number of wins to starts, quality and level of races won, and a variety of tracks won at. And once again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same horse that won the Racing Queensland Horse of the Year. So the Distance Horse of the Year, Scotty, looks to be very, very deep.
It's going to be a well sought after award too, this one, Gavin. I believe with the current series we've got happening, firstly for the Country Stampede for the sprinters, and then you've got the Country Cups Challenge. I believe a lot of these runners will be in amongst the nominations, and I just think that's absolutely tremendous for this awards night. And to see both these awards being delivered out on the same night is going to be an absolute tremendous happening. And, you know, some good horses in the both sprinting and staying ranks. And I think that, yeah, come to the end of the year, we're going to see something special with a lot of these runners being nominated.
1-800-4-PLUMBER. Yes, we do it all. 1-800-4-PLUMBER. Plumber to your door. Bathroom, kitchens, renovations, roof repairs and installations with clear communications. Plumber to your door. 24/7 will be right there. Emergency service or repair. For water and gas, we do it all. Just call for plumber to your door. 1-800-4-PLUMBER. Plumber to your door.
Our next award, Rob, is the Queensland Country Racing Trainer of the Year Award, prestigious award, awarded to a trainer who has excelled in the On the Bit Racing Australia 2020 calendar year. An award measured, like the others, by number of wins to starters, quality and the level of races won, the variety of tracks won at, and the level of commitment to Queensland Country Racing. And this is an award that may be awarded separate to the Racing Queensland Trainer of the Year. Rob, a very prestigious award.
Oh, very much so. And we've got so many talented trainers across country Queensland, across all of the various zones in the state. And I like the fact that the criteria, Gavin, for these, the horses and the jockey and the trainers all read the same way, where you're looking at statistics with wins to starters. You're looking at the quality, the level of the races that are there, their ability to go to a range of tracks. And I think that level of commitment to Queensland Country Racing, and there might be some ways that people can identify that differently when they put their award nomination in, that really just shine a light on some things that trainers do that, again, go beyond the call of duty, maybe as a trainer in their commitment to country racing. And it just may be that gets them over the line, because the field across the length and breadth of the state, a great bunch of trainers occurring. And when you look at their horses at the races, they're always turned out in great condition. They shine on the stage. And when they go down to things like the Country Cups and the Country Stampede, their horses look immaculate, and it's a credit to them. So a very worthy award, and take the time to really put in as much detail as possible when you nominate. Can't stress that enough.
Yeah, that's right. We're very proud of the standard and the quality and the effort of the country, Queensland country trainers right around the state, and they certainly don't look out of place wherever they go when their horses are presented so professionally with a great deal of care and attention. And they have to do many, many miles. It's not easy, but the level of excellence across the state is outstanding. A very prestigious award. I look forward to seeing how that unfolds. Scotty, that brings us to the Queensland Country Racing Hall of Fame participant, which is an award for longevity in the industry with an outstanding record of successes and or achievements that have produced exemplary industry-setting standards. This person has enhanced the standards of country racing as well as individual careers. Scotty, always a privilege, no matter what sport you're in, to be considered for the Hall of Fame, and I'm looking forward to the nominations for this award.
Oh, Gav, absolutely. And this type of award actually makes the hair stand up in the back of your neck on the awards night, because as a youngster growing up, you see these participants, when they're at the, right in the thick of their game and successful careers that they all had, and their involvement and, the mentoring that they gave to different participants over them years to come. And I just think it's tremendous, and it's great for racing. Great to have that senior involvement in racing. And the Hall of Fame participant for the Queensland Country Racing Awards is going to be a tremendously sought after one.
Yeah, well said. And the final three awards all relate to the Hall of Fame. Rob, our 11th award is the Queensland Country Racing Hall of Fame Jockey, which is awarded for longevity in the industry with an outstanding record of success and achievements that have produced exemplary industry-setting standards. This person has enhanced the standards of country racing as well as individual careers, which is the same criteria as participant and the following two, but Hall of Fame Jockey, an extraordinary award.
I think all the Hall of Fame awards, Gavin and Scott, are probably the prestigious highlight of the evening. As Scotty said, when you hear the details of people and what they've done, it's really outstanding, and you can't feel any prouder than what you hear on the night. But look, and these awards also allow people to go back into the history of country racing, and in fact, people may have passed on in this time and be nominated, but are worthy nominees for such an award. And you rely on the older generation, if you like, and I'll use Keith Ballard as an example. I'm sure Keith would have a great memory of so many people in his area that he would use to nominate for, say, a jockey or a horse or a trainer. And we don't know about these people in the current era, but when you look at their record, they will stack up with these criteria. So it may be someone who's current, it may be someone who's been in the last 10, 15 years, it may be someone who's been back quite a few years. And as a result, they get their recognition in what's probably been missing in country racing, this Hall of Fame list of outstanding recipients and award winners. So again, across the board, jockey, horse and trainer, there's some fantastic nominees with a lot of history behind them we'll put forward.
Yeah, really well said. I mean, it captures a lifetime of work, and despite the fact that some years might have passed us by, people's work and achievements who may have been some years back should not be diminished because they are fresh of mind. And this is a really good way, first, to recognise the person, the achievement, but also to bring those stories back to the surface, Scotty, to make sure that those old stories, which horse racing really prides itself on its tradition, aren't lost because of time.
Exactly, Gavin. You just hear on the night some of the stories from those previous years, like you're talking way back, before the 70s and in the 60s, and you had the participants involved, and some of those participants are still around this day and age to actually speak about what happened over those years. And I just think it's absolutely tremendous to get some of those participants there on the night, in particular, the jockeys, trainers, the connections of a certain horse, and also the participants and their families. They're all involved on that awards night. It's absolutely great, mate.
Yeah, so
Scotty, it's about telling the story, isn't it? That's what I think you're saying as well. Telling the story of what is being involved in that history. You mentioned the 70s. Well, some of us still can remember back there, Scotty, and go back that far. But some of these stories coming out of the 50s and 60s, and they're outstanding achievements.
Oh, absolutely. And it's an opportunity for us to document, to appreciate, to recognise. And perhaps one of the functions of this new website is to perhaps lock away and document some of these stories, so these records and these lifetime achievements aren't lost because of memory, because they certainly are recognised as important in 2020 as they were whenever they were achieved. So, gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the 13 awards. Like I said, viewers, the nomination process is now open. The website is now live. Rob has made the point on several occasions tonight about the importance of making the effort to go into the detail to create a narrative around why it is that you're nominating and the importance of doing so. So please take the time and the effort to do that. We've tried to structure the nomination form and the process in a way where it's not a really lengthy, wordy document where you're having to write a 1,500 word, essay in terms of getting your point across. So I hope you appreciate the way that the nomination process has been structured, but do go to the effort to create that story, because Rob makes a very valid point, and we wouldn't want to see an outstanding achievement not get the recognition it deserves because we don't have the full picture or the information.
Gavin, if I could just add there for you, I've just been clicking on those awards on the website and the nomination forms. It also gives the ability to put the supporting documents. You can drop files in there, whether it be pictures or newspaper articles. You can just whack them. I've even become expert at that myself just in business, so it's not hard to do. But it's there in black and white. Just click on the award, go down the bottom. It's all sitting there waiting to get those awards in. Let's get as many in as possible.
Yeah, great work. And creating a story is not necessarily about how well you can write, or like a point in terms of writing prose, and there's a number of different ways that you can create your narrative. So get stuck into it, viewers, and nominate away. Gentlemen, it's going to be an absolute cracker of a night. The 5th of February in Emerald, we've got the Melbourne Cup. We've got a couple of confirmations that we can announce. We've got the Melbourne Cup winning jockey Corey Brown and Jim Cassidy attending. We also have Annie Bickle returning, as well as Kimberly Simpson. If you're not familiar with Kimberly, she has a really high profile. A former Miss Universe Australia, who now works for Channel 7. She'll be in Emerald on the night for a wonderful weekend, honouring all the achievements from our participants within country racing industry. Robbie and Scott, it's sure to be a really special event.
Oh, absolutely, Gav, and we look forward to it. I know Robbie makes a weekend of it as well as we do with the family, and just to be a part of that night is just you got the races on the afternoon, and then that evening you've got the awards, and then with the Hall of Fame horse, we get the names of some of the horses, and a great deal of fun with 4 of the race callers up there doing the relay race call as well. And I know Robbie's keen to have another crack at that, and I'm just over the moon about that type of thing happening and to be involved in any sort of way whatsoever.
Yeah, well said, Scotty. It's been fantastic 2 years of it so far, and the third one coming up. It'll get bigger and better. It always improves each year, doesn't it, as we go? Some of us have to watch the time that we manage to get through the evening so the after parties can occur, but I think they even have a breakfast to let you recover the next day. So plenty of good activities take place, and you really get well looked after in Emerald on that weekend, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Gav, we're looking forward to you coming up too, mate.
Yeah. So I grew up in country Queensland, but find myself in Darwin these days, and I'm chewing at the bit to get down there. I've watched many of the videos on YouTube and so forth, and it's just an extraordinary night. Recognition of an amazing industry, and really proud to be involved. So, gents, that brings us to the end of the night. So I'm disappointed in some respects, but I hope everyone enjoys the new website. A lot of work and dedication. We've mentioned that has gone into it, but it's a showcase and to support the participants in Queensland country racing. It allows us to promote what we do, all the participants involved in it, not just across Queensland, but across Australia, internationally. And the more people that support us and get behind what we do, the more we can support and get that momentum. And it's heading in a really great direction. Show us your support, sign up, it's all free. Step behind it, because the more support that we get, the more support that we can give. To Rob, thank you very much, Rob, for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin, for the opportunity. Good night to yourself and Scott and viewers, and congratulations again to Matty and Christy on the culmination of the website. And as I said, get on and use it, because it's very user friendly and there's plenty of information. And let's look forward to some great nominations coming for these awards.
Yeah, well said. And Scotty, as always, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Hey, privilege, Gav. Thanks to you. Thanks, Robbie, for the great conversations we've had this evening. And in particular, a big congratulations to Matty and Christy Peters with the On The Bit Racing Australia webpage being launched. Get those nominations in for all of those different categories for the On The Bit Awards Racing Night in early February. Yeah,
well said. It's been an absolute joy, gentlemen. So thank you, everyone who continues to support the On The Bit Racing team. It's an absolute privilege. It's the best job in the world. I'm Gavin Morris. Please check out the website, onthebitRacingAustralia.com.au. Good night, and look forward to seeing you next On The Bit TV show.